money.
Oh, baby.
We're in the money.
Are we live?
We're live.
Should I put my pants back on then?
Welcome everybody.
The interview's not over.
Live stream. The interview. Oh, we're still interviewing people. But John, go ahead and introduce everybody.
Oh
I gotta make
yay!
sure
Okay,
I
so
delete all of the old
but
stuff.
is this okay? Is this the same YouTube link though?
He posted a new one.
there's the new update. Well, we got to post in other areas. Well, welcome to the admin stream. Here joining us, we have I think a majority of us admins. I'm going to just go down how I see it from left to right. So, of course, the wonderful Justin Gee. Thank you for hosting this. Next to that is our Kevin Al. Kevin, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
And that's in Canadian, folks. So if you don't understand, Google Translate. Then we have Matthew.
What's going on, everybody?
Sorry. And Salvaro, is that how we say it?
Silviero.
Silviero. That was it. Thank you.
Silviero.
Silviero. And then we have Rachel. Say hello, Rachel.
It's a tab.
Yep. Here.
No roll call, Rachel. Don't worry about it.
Well, I'm
Fernandez.
trying to make sure the people that I want to watch actually have the link.
Gotcha. And then we have Ugly. Say hello, Ugly. Oh, boy.
Oh.
You're not supposed to do that.
The least qualified of all of us, Blake Broussard.
The least qualified of all.
In Canada, we're not allowed to have guns. So
Do you even know what a
What
gun
he
is?
saying? Anyone understand it? Just say, yeah, what's he saying?
Why do we continue to let you be a people?
Yeah. Stop trying to make Canadian happen, all right?
And then for Kevin out, goodbye.
All right. And then that is our... And we're missing one. We're missing Cameron. Yeah, we're missing Cameron. I don't know where he's at, but we are
Cameron's
missing
having
Cameron,
technical difficulties here. He can't work a mic.
Yeah.
That's okay. So,
I gotta
I'm
invite you
gonna-
directly. I gotta find it. Man.
Oh, I was wondering
Okay,
where my
so do you-
flask went.
do you want us to just go right
But we
in
have
onto the subject matters here?
Okay. Yeah, we have the agenda already up.
Do we?
All right. So on our
I
agenda...
just need to edit the video.
So I guess the biggest thing, I mean, I read our first agenda topic is Thunder Empire, Omni 2.0. I'm assuming we're just talking about how overpowered Thunder Empire is and how bad it is for the state of the game and the meta.
I believe it's going back to. We look back on when Fifth Omni's
I
down.
wanted to know.
Say it
Justin,
again.
do not interrupt the other members.
So I actually proposed
What?
this topic.
Okay.
I said that Fifth Omni 2.0 because Thunder Empire and kind of rivals the same level of interference and problematic BS that Omni's proposed back when that meta was going on. And then you have your Chaos as, whatever special deck they want to give us this season to be bullshit. That back then it was 100 Demons which was not problematic, but this is more problematic than that. So we have pretty much the same meta a year later with the same decks being played with the exception of also new decks being added.
I don't recall a villain deck being as bad as this one.
Oh no, it never was. It's just if you look back,
Like, I mean, evil.
It's oppressive. The word we're looking for is like
Yeah.
how oppressive the decks are
if
being
you
right
look back kind of like a year ago at Omni meta, there was very again most worlds were played, but the big ones that were going on was Dragon World, Black Dragons, especially when it came to Abigail. Abigail was brand new at that time. Now it's even more powerful than ever before. You still have your Star Dragon World players out there playing Jack or whatever concoction they can think of, same as it was a year ago. And you still have any other deck that people can splash together, such as Guardians, Executioners, Tyrants, any rogue deck like Oni Assassins. They still around. Just general idea that it still comes down to two big powerhouses. Omni's and
Anything with Dragon in it and the latest villain.
Chaos and Thunder Empire.
I mean, I like chime in because I said this the other day or yesterday was that when we had the Omni era, truly win because every deck was in my mind equally broken or balanced. I mean, Fifth Omni, yes, like had a little bit more to it, but Fifth Omni's true terror didn't actually come until after like drum was done. Like it was like when we entered the size 3 Fifth Omni, I think that was when it was truly terrifying. But like any deck really could have done well. Katana World had great stuff. We had great stuff in Ancient World. We had some really interesting stuff in Dungeon World. Like, you know, so for a while there, I think it was again that any deck mentality can win. Now it's like, okay, if you're not playing one of the big four, do anything in the meta.
That's a funny way to spell two.
Okay, I will speak Canadian then.
Hey,
Anything that's not Thunder Empire or Chaos can't, you know, is going to be the only winning decks. I mean, the people like to claim Legend World's going to be the, you know, ultimately the big dog deck, but
I think they say that every year and it never happens.
Yeah, people.
Honestly, from playing Legend World,
2.0.
personally, it's a struggle. It's a struggle. Like I can beat well, it's like Legend World versus Chaos. It's like I have to draw the card to give all of my items penetrate. And like hope that they don't like overkill and then my turn. And don't have the redirect. It's like so much like in that matchup. And then it's like with bats, it's like I can beat them if they don't drop Loud Voice on me. So if they do drop Loud Voice on me, I have to have the spell negate or I kind of like auto lose because they're just gonna out aggro me.
Yeah, it's
like I don't know. We need.
I don't know, but you also get.
I mean, Legend World
prisms.
is good. I wouldn't say it's as good. Yeah, I mean that matchup. Oh my gosh, is an entire different headache in its own because you have to get so many specific swords just to be able to compete against them, and then you still run the risk of running into their damn new OP impact.
Yep.
The
Pretty
one where
balanced,
it's
right?
pay for. Yeah. So.
Well, and not only that, but they have so
I
many
mean,
cards in the Prism deck
BuzzFeed
that
knows
set
what
up their
they're
play.
doing.
Well, is that a good
What,
time
the
to start
set
talking
that
about
up?
the last two sets, the Rainbow Striker and the
Not
Overturned Thunder Empire?
I guess. I mean, like we don't have a lot to say about
Sure.
these two decks. They're oppressive. They do more. They do what the other decks don't do. Or basically, like they have ways to do retarded attack combos or like overload their field.
they're basically
Dot, dot,
bullshit.
Yeah. Well, to an extent,
No, they're bullshit.
because like there are ways to deal with the decks in the game. I'm not going to deny the fact that everything is made with some sort of balance in mind. You just caught up with how stupid it is that everybody's only going to play these two decks because they have the most proven win rate.
Well, I mean, I think it was meta is going to be meta. You want to always try to win. I understand that, but this is like steamrolling. This isn't even like, hey, I just have a meta deck. Like this is like overkill and no pun intended. Like it's just haha. so it's just nasty. It's like you show up to locals and you're just getting manhandled for like 2 plays in and the game's over.
The manhandling is basically like, what if we took Fifth Omni and instead of being
But Blake, why do you say it's bullshit? Play Shadow Dive.
What? I'm sorry,
Hold on, I said
because
you say
every
Shadow
deck right
Dive. Why
now
do you-
has something that can blow me up 6 times, attack 7 times, blow my other shit up, and then call more shit.
Well,
He's
Shadow
right.
Dive still doesn't work against a Thora. You still have to attack a Thora.
Is everyone
Hey, I
really
said that
afraid of a
last time.
Thora that much?
I'm not afraid of it.
No,
They're all
I'm
fucking
just saying
Thora.
that's the common. Like, if you run a deck that doesn't have a form of out to that in one turn, you're going to be dealt a lot of damage.
So you deserve to lose if you don't out a Thora.
Yeah, like man, like
Not every deck though can
For me
deal
to
with a
beat a
Thora.
Thora
Like
with,
you're just
Thor-
going to have to run Thunder Empire and maybe Black Dragons, maybe.
Justin, what were you saying?
Gallows to
yeah,
make them.
look. No, I was gonna say for me to beat a Thor with swords, I have to make sure I see the damage reduction sword as soon as possible, and I have to also not equip too many swords too fast. So I hard equip every item that I have until they overturn, then I overkill. You know how much that slows me down being an aggro deck? It's like I'm crawling and like swinging at their legs.
Gotcha. See, I don't find. I guess because I play the Star Dragon World, so I understand how it runs in and out. So I know it's a little bit. I know it's kind of weakness. It's just they're low on damage output, so they make up for it if you're playing the burn build. But people aren't playing the burn build for some weird reason. I don't get it. They're playing the other.
Why would you not want to play that?
They're playing the weapon
know
that
why.
gives you gauge rather than give you
The
the burns one.
So are they trying to
Because
go for
Star-
impact in general?
Yeah, like from what I've seen of list of people so far, it's just like the burn build is the more aggressive build that's going to let you get that extra push for game faster. If a deck can outpace you or let you set up, a Thora's not going to do much. You get one shot at your overturn, and if you fail that turn and don't impact them, they have a high probability of beating you that turn. The turn after.
Yeah. That the Thora versus
fear
Thora
the
mirror
burn
match.
build more because it gives them an alternate win condition.
The Thora versus the Thora mirror match has to be a real barn burner because like I just don't. I mean like. I expect to see a lot of that coming up soon.
Mirror
in
match.
Team League, yeah. Holy
Time. Reasons why every team went at a time.
John, actually, every mirror match and buddy fight is cancerous. Have you ever played only assassins with only assassins?
Yes, that was fun.
Like really, like in one turn, literally everything gets blown up.
That was fun.
Everything ambushes and blows up until one person has nothing.
It pretty much came down to who drew better in the Only Assassin mirror match.
Justin, you're like Wile E. Coyote. Like you're sitting there with like your little TNA or TNT thing going, and just watching everything explode. Like I can tell you, the mirror matches that used to be in the day, like Fifth Omni, were somewhat more interesting because at least you're killing off drum or you're killing off the other things that make it good. But I don't know.
The first half of the year was not bad. Like, I was expecting Chaos to be this super uber scary thing, and a couple of the test games I did before the Indiana Regional, it kind of was, but I think that was mostly just a Del Diablos because that stupid 2, maybe 3 crit, triple attacking, whatever. But the actual Indiana Regional tournament, there was like a lot of chaos, but it didn't feel bad.
It got a lot worse since that day. I remember the Indiana Regional. It got a lot worse since that day.
Now they can forcibly make it, end your turn or make a board out of nowhere.
Like
You did try.
Yeah, everything happened
Yeah.
with Thunder Empire.
Yeah.
Like, the board out of nowhere
because
and ending the turn.
locally. Yeah, and it's like they get a board out of nothing all the time now with chaos. It's like they no hand, no field. They draw a card, play that card, gets them another card, play that card, gets them another card, play that card, gets them a gear guard, and then they play gear guard. It was like, okay, battle, and they did all of that with one card.
Yep.
And it's like you board wipe them completely. They overkill it, really awesome stuff. And you're like, I'm still gonna kill you because I can attack you a million times. And they're like, okay, my turn. You never hit me. Nothing never had penetrate. Or if it was more than if it was 3 or more, I didn't take the damage. Play this card. Get Darylbert, play this card, get this other card, get Gear Guard again. And it's like I didn't minus at all. That's the problem with chaos.
But then why weren't you playing Penetrate?
Not
Yeah,
all
and you
decks.
have to-
Oh!
Not all
Because
decks.
most people don't even care about penetrate
And
right
you
now
just
because
like-
you are going up against a lot of center heavy decks, or not a whole lot of center heavy decks.
Every deck should play Penetrate right now.
Now, not. I mean,
and that's why I
don't know,
used to argue. I mean, either
I
that
don't
or
know.
bounce because Thunder X Goodbye is really good in this. Like Thunder X Goodbye is really good for Thunder Empire in the mirror match and against what is it called, Thor, and against Chaos. Because when you bounce their gear guard during their turn, there's
Wait a
little to
minute,
nothing.
but
that they
Thunder
can do.
Empire has that stupid set spell, or not Thunder Empire, Chaos now. It's like you can't take more than 3 damage and blah 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 because more broken stuff. Like
Thunder Empire has a
so,
spell that does the thing where you can't bounce and they can
Yes,
sack
but it
you
doesn't
for
stop the bouncing. And yeah, and then if you bounce, then they can't overkill and stay alive.
is it sad that I missed 100 Demons?
So, but there's a monster. I think he's destroyed. Then you could call a monster from your hand, and then they'll just call back Gear Guard. Like that's the one trap I fell into one turn, like one game, and it's just terrible. Like Gear Guard is just a terrible monster mash of defense now.
And just wait, it gets better.
And I really feel like a lot of decks don't have. But that's why Danger World isn't good, and that's why Magic World isn't good yet. Because if Magic World was really good right now, and Danger World was really good, they would completely shit on that deck.
Danger World.
But the Magic World
And
has
Bushi is trying to push there a little bit.
Put the flag face down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, someone's pointing out in
Like Magic
chat that Chaos can actually just stop penetrate now. So there goes that idea.
Yeah, no one plays that card. Find the room.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no guarantee that they're gonna have the
Find that room for that card. Like no one plays that card.
I don't know. You're gonna.
Oh
have
yeah,
the
they're
crazy
talking
people.
about that. What is it called?
The set spell that says any damage.
The Star Dragon World card. That,
No, not Star Dragon World. I
yeah,
thought it
3
was-
greater. I already mentioned that.
Yeah.
No, there's a Star Dragon that just came out. That, like, yeah, you don't take penetrate, but I don't think anybody plays that. They may side it, but
No, it's a Darkness Dragon Ball card for Chaos.
like I would side it if you're planning. Yeah, it's a Star Dragon World Chaos monster. I may have it.
It's a monster. I thought that was a set spell. That was
No, the set spell, the Darkness Dragon Ball. I know the Star Dragon Ball card he's talking about. Yeah, there is that. People may play that over the set spell because the more monster that does it, the
More
same.
I'm getting that
yeah.
everyone in like the British Columbia area plays that. Everyone, if you play Chaos, you're playing that card because penetrate is one of the only ways you can
Canada?
use Chaos.
Canada.
I was gonna say you beat me to it. I'm over here in Canada, and I'm like, yo, who plays Chaos in freaking Ontario? Please, no one get on my case for that.
No, they're all on the West Coast.
And the East Coast.
Only the inland is safe.
Never.
Well, it's I don't know. It's the fact that they have the out though. Like it's the fact that they were given the card. Like it's there. It's kind of like you always just have to expect them to either cite it or just have it in there randomly, and they don't deserve it. Just let them die. But again,
Yeah.
like if you're playing, if you're like me, who's a danger player, and you're playing against something like that, like, and you're like, oh, here's a billion crit attack, that does nothing now. Before it was one thing. Now it's just
somebody
disgusting.
asked about the Dungeon World stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Dungeon World is really good now, and especially the shield, like open center. What is that? Knights. Knights are really good, and then they have a monster that if you have 2 items equipped, which is really easy with this deck now, that you get to draw 2 cards, and then they have a set spell that if any of your knights on board poke your opponent, you gauge and gain a life, and you can set more than one of that set spell. So like knights, like Dungeon World is in a really good spot, and it kind of hard counters some of the faster aggro decks because it forces your opponent into link attacks, and then you playing 1 shield or something, or like even a mover to like stop all of that damage. Because I know it's a headache for me.
I got a question here. You just said outrun some of the faster aggro decks. We're already having first turn kills if you go second. How do you get faster than that?
Mobius.
You don't even end your
What,
turn. You just
sword?
Hold on, I got
you don't even first turn. You're just in battle, man. You're just like, you're dead.
Mobius and Menjo. 2-0. There we go.
Look, that
There's an overturn
was
bats that
made
just
by
gains
the
crit.
devil. You hear me? That shield was made by the devil. This is a demonic shield that absorbs any type of damage. So I try to poke at my opponent, but I can't do that because of the degenerate players that play it here. I have to link attack and spell negate to kill you. Shut up, Chris. Doesn't count. And then the sword when it's attacking alone, it can't be negated if it's attacking alone. And you can make it a 3 crit sword, and then you just final phase and then do it again, and then your buddy monster fucking restands it, and they're just poking you for 3 times that can't be negated. So you have to
You
run
also
damage
have to
reducers.
remember the combo
Or-
with Mission Card Ibo
Lightning.
Academy. The Mission Card Ibo Academy allows you to counter pay a gauge and then let you recall a monster from your hand. So after you let Gao link attack and restand 2 things, you go in again, then you go Mission Card Ibo Academy, bounce a Cole Tetsuya, then keep link attacking.
Ibo Academy makes the deck ridiculous, yes.
Yeah, Ivo Academy
Oh,
makes
shit.
the,
Somebody
makes
says-
the link attack combinations really out of control. Like we're going back to the point where when we were afraid of Glory Seeker Tetsuya Bladewing, and it's putting that combo to shame. It's making that look like a thing of the past, because it is. That's what the original idea was. It was just a giant link attack for 11 damage. Now my friends get up to at least 35 damage.
Maybe we get more life. Maybe we all become Dragons of Y.
Some decks.
Maybe we all go to 20 life.
Hey man, that'd be great.
Well, actually, that was one of the
Somebody
ways.
told me about a
Guys,
deck with
Ivo
that
Academy,
that-
it does not cost any gauge whatsoever. Except for the cost.
It costs no gauge?
Yeah, no. The field spell itself doesn't cost any gauge. You just pay whatever the monster costs. Just had that
Call costs,
clarification.
all
yeah.
costs.
Where are we at?
So Justin, if
Current
you're
state of the
arguing with someone there,
Okay.
Justin, so if
Yeah,
you're
we
arguing
just-
with someone there, that
Hmm?
means
Return.
meta? What's the question?
no. If Justin's arguing with Chris over there, does that mean he's at the shop? And does that mean it's open?
Ah, yes. All right, so what are we?
Stop
what-
with this. Yes, the store is always open. The store is never closed unless I say it's closed. Oh my gosh.
So what are we talking about? What's the current topic? Current state of the
well,
meta?
We're talking
yeah, right now
about
we're
the
on
last
the meta.
box set.
During this quarter, that-
Overturned Thunder Empire did not do anything. The meta. Then Rainbow Striker tried to wash it all away.
Rainbow Striker did.
That's the last two box sets in the nutshell.
Rainbow Striker to allow a lot of people to play the game again.
Just prison players.
Yeah.
Star Trek players
Just
and Legends.
you poor prison players. I used to watch the group and people would just be like, "It's not fair. We play Prism and this is not good. And the only current deck that's really good is
No, I
Jackknife."
know.
Blah blah blah. And
I
then
know.
all of a sudden they're like, "Oh,
Exactly.
here's the overturn for Prisms." And then the game
Where
was
did I
played.
put my helmet again? Put the helmet back on and it stayed on. Oh,
Take the helmet back on and it's staying on. What the hell was that?
Wow, shots fired.
I don't know.
Prisms are like the kid who finally got back asked to homecoming after getting dumped. Ow! Stop.
Yeesh.
Okay, so are we on current state of the
what
meta?
is it?
Or are we on
No, but
during
John, we
this
got a
one?
lot of stuff to say.
We got a lot of
What is the current state of the meta? Current state of the meta is that we have like a handful of decks that are good, and some decks that are good in the hands of some people, but it's nowhere near like what it used to be in Buddy Fight, where it's like everything is competitive, or like every world has at least one competitive deck. 'Cause
Yeah,
I know that's how like it
pretty
is in
true.
Vanguard right now.
Well,
Everything.
I think Athora
like
is
one
actually
competitive
probably
deck.
the one guilty of that though. Like once Athora came out, he just walled out a lot of decks.
but Athora fell out of favor really quickly after the first two sets came out for X thing, and then it stopped. being
Yeah.
for a long
Athora
time.
couldn't keep up at that point, but now it's back and can keep
Yeah,
up.
And now it's like a fucking locomotive.
they
Just
threw Athora, you could
plowing
still.
through things. Oh, that's a cute
There we go.
concept there. You want to attack me how many times? Not only do I have an overturn that says "bring it," I have a set spell or a spell that says "rest all your" or not rest, end the turn. So, so chaos.
John,
and-
this is why you should play Darkness Dragon.
no, I'm
come to the
bad,
Church
but I'm not
of
that
Abigail.
bad. The Church of Abigail. I am not playing. What do I call it? Trap Boy. I'm not playing Trap Boy.
What?
Yeah, he's not
That
playing.
was not a trap.
John's not playing Trap Boy. He's only into Trap Boy.
See,
I
Gaito
don't
is
even
a
like
lot
trap
of things,
boys.
but he is not a trap. He may be homeless.
He's
may
homeless,
be
suicidal,
homeless,
and
but he's
crazy.
not a trap.
And you play.
There's
you
no
watch
love in my
Chaos
heart.
Theory. That's a trap.
They didn't need set spell love like that they got. It was not needed. Everything is a set spell. It can't be destroyed. You destroy it, you take how many damage off of that one spell? Like, come on. not even that many cards,
Oh my
or
God,
that
you
many
made-
worlds can get rid of set spells to begin with.
You made it. Hello.
But they gave us a generic card that could get rid of any set spell.
I
Like, they
knew,
just
and I
put 'em
love
on the
that card
bottom
for
of it.
so many reasons. Because say goodbye to the throne card for Ozzy and all that. Just completely just goes to the back of the deck.
When was Ozzy relevant?
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, all these cards that finally were like, you can't get rid of. Like, here's a card to go, bye-bye.
Oh God! You know what? Once I started
Yeah.
tacking on the
Oh, my
whole,
goodness.
this card, this card can't have its effects nullified, and all these extra things to, make sure that other decks like Great Fate Stars could, mess with it. That's when I looked at this game and I started going, okay, we are getting very close to that Yu-Gi-Oh bar where they're just tacking on all of these effects to make sure some of this stuff can't be messing with the other stuff, and it's going to be stupid.
But Rachel, don't forget, we will soon have a flag that just says "win the game." You don't even have to do anything. just put this on top of this baby, and it's gone. The game's over. Because that's where we're going. Like,
are we still allowed to turn face down?
wait,
No.
what card does do
You
that?
don't. You
I
just
don't
put
remember
the
how that
flag on the table and say "I win," and then your opponent goes, "Aw,
Yeah.
damn! I wish I had that card."
Like, you can just have one of this card in the deck, and the moment you draw Exodia! Like, it's over. Don't even try for anything else.
My grandpa's deck has no pathetic
I mean, you
flags.
turn somebody's.
That's a good idea, but that's just me.
No, but that's the route we're going. Like, you talked about not wanting to actually, like OTK? Like, now you just raise the flag and you win. Don't even begin your turn. All right.
Yeah, but current state of the matter, a lot of people don't like it. The game is way fast. It's a lot faster than what we always joke about, like Bushi Road power creep, and it's like you can see it over the years clearly in Buddy Fight. It's like now we're getting so many cards that do like so many things or give you options without like any penalty.
But the problem,
The
I see people talking
like
about. But here's the thing: I see people talking about in the group chat about doing a ban list. The problem is, if you have a ban list, I think you actually will kill the community. Like, I think you will, like, people will riot in the streets. Like, and not that there's many of them, but everyone who spends money on this game will definitely be upset that their money cards are no longer value. If anything, they should have come up with a rotation.
Okay,
and
I'm
just
going to
said every time-
explain.
Ban lists are better than
no
rotations.
rotations.
The reason why that's bad is because majority of the Buddy Fight community are casuals. And then about 75% of the community are invested in worlds and they're not invested into decks. So people are always looking for new support to come out for their worlds and not a specific deck. That's why I'm starting to actually get out of playing like just specific worlds and playing decks so that when those decks get support, I can have a competitive deck for the format. Because I think this is like my first time playing Legend World like in forever competitively.
Yeah, but
And I'm just playing it because Bushi did my dream and made a deck of all items. So I can just swing at my
You would play
opponent's
a few other
motherfucking
people.
self
Okay,
all game.
So if I may,
But the reason why ban lists will kill
Well,
because
Hold on, go
people
ahead.
aren't going to invest in decks unless they're cheap. Because our community is full of casual players. And casual players don't want to spend money. That's just what it comes down to.
we good?
Well, it also comes down to that
It's like even when we have cheap
We're not good.
people who play casually, the meta right now is not like a casual friendly environment. If a casual walked into my shop and played against any of my guys, I'm sorry, they're not coming back to play Buddy Fight for another year.
that's like that one time I walked into that bar.
Yeah, like
It was not pretty. I did not go back for a
We
while.
don't have to talk about that, okay?
And it was in New York. No.
I knew a lot of players that stopped playing in the New York area just because they were like they're tired of playing at their shops because everybody's playing the deck
Top tier
and-
meta deck or
yeah, and
any
they can't
competitive deck
compete.
that you've
It's
been
like-
working on for 5
Yeah,
years.
it's like players that play the meta don't understand. It's like, yeah, sure, it's cool to play those decks and invest in it, and of course you want to play it because you put your money into it, but you shouldn't be playing those decks every week. All you're going to do is kill your local scene, and if you kill your local scene, you're going to eventually just kill the game. A discussion with somebody from Virginia about this like a few years ago. It was like 3 or 4 years ago when Dungeon World was fucking broken. I explained to him because I played Dungeon World as well at the time. And I explained to him why I didn't play it all the time. And he told me he's going to continue to play the deck because he only cares about winning. Community in Virginia now. No, him and one other player single-handedly killed their entire community because they wanted to hurt dirt, play Dungeon World, get all of this stuff off, 11 damage, OTK everybody. And people just got tired of this shit. So all of the casual players quit. And they started playing, what is it called? White Shorts and going back to Vanguard.
Well, that was a bad decision.
This is why this would be
it's simple.
Honestly, kind of the catch-22 we have right now is that our community is so small that we don't have a separation of casuals and hardcore competitive players. Like we were just talking about, like the filthy casuals, but it's also the casuals that help, fill our tournaments and make our communities. You can have a play group of like 5 or 6 guys, but that's not a community. That's like maybe a travel team at best, and even then, like, what? You're lucky if half of those guys can regularly travel for regionals and stuff like that. It's not going to happen unless you find ways to just meet somewhere in the middle, and that's not going to happen because, like you just said, the casuals aren't going to want to invest in the big money decks to keep up with these constant updates that Bushiroad is pushing and pushing and pushing out. And the hardcore guys, they're not going to want to go down to the level of the casuals because they've already made these big investments on the tournament decks that they want to get their practice with because, the only competitive scene we have is the regional tournaments. So...
Well, and that's a topic on our thing rated for what I think
God.
Few people have tried to make it competitive.
Oh my gosh. And we're going to try to keep this stream positive. So regionals is a whole barrel of salt and disappointment that I don't want to get into today.
Time till regionals.
My name is Kevin, and I have a valid argument.
No, you're from Canada. No, you're not.
All right.
Now,
I'll hear the Canadians argument.
America's talking, please. Guys, regionals is a long way ahead of us, okay? We have a lot. We have what?
What? Our regional's like in a month and a half.
Oh shit! I'm talking about New York.
Yeah, only New York matter, huh?
All right, sorry, New York's talking.
You ain't better than me.
You think you're better than me? No, but seriously, for anyone that regionals is coming up, you guys are gonna have a bit of a struggle. For anyone's regionals that's down the line in May or March or April, we're gonna have a little bit of an easier time because we're gonna have a little bit more sets to drop to let the game change and flow.
Yeah, but if we had a ban list, the change in flow would happen sooner.
The only reason people started arguing about a ban list is because Vanguard's getting a ban list. It's the only reason Buddy Fight ever talked about a ban list.
Excuse me.
Am I ever going to get this?
Excuse me. A non-Canadian's talking.
Yes, John.
Buddy, Vanguard's had a ban list technically for a while. Like they have had it for.
I apologize. It hasn't been updated since the last thing I remember that was relevant was what Wingle's ban as your starter. Or
no, they got rid of all the Aqua Forest cards that made their deck stupid.
Only been around since G and only cared about blasters.
When they hit a Dicreus.
Yeah.
Vanguard needed its ban list though, so even on the JP side, and a lot of those bans were very needed to the point where, from what I've been hearing, I can't actually say this firsthand, but it's been from what I've been hearing from a lot of my friends who are competitive in Vanguard. It's a lot more diverse now because of the bans that they had like last year when they finally got rid of TikTok, and a lot of the stuff that's gone support. Like the lower deck in Vanguard is like stupid resilient for
when the limited Sweep Command Dragon, or what's his name? Not Sweep Command. What's the other guy's name?
Sweep Command.
Sweep Command. The guy that came after him. Descendant? I don't remember anymore.
Oh yeah, you're talking about Descendant and Eradicator.
that thing.
Buster or something, whatever. They've had ban, but we never got that ban list here.
My
Why are we
point is-
talking about Vanguard?
So we're gonna tie it all back. Okay, so go back. So the reason for that
None of you
ban
let me
list is
talk
because,
about my points about the stupid ban list for Buddy Fight. That's why we're back at Vanguard.
Okay, all right,
because
go
we're
ahead.
talking about Vanguard having a ban list and maybe Buddy Fight having
I
one. Would
think-
it help?
The
Would
reason
it
why
help?
Buddy Fight needs the ban list is because it would help cause the decks that are too fucking stupid to slow
I
the
have a
fuck down
better
so everyone
question
else can
than that.
compete.
But at the same time,
If-
they put so
if
many
we did
pieces for
ban
some of
it,
these
then
decks that,
Buddy
like,
Fight,
what do
what
you
would
ban
it
out of
be?
it?
Hold on. Rachel's talking. Then
Yeah,
Yeah,
Justin.
what are you gonna ban?
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah,
I
what
will
are
stay
what are
Bans,
we?
Thunder
We did have
Empire,
a ban.
flag.
I've been waiting.
Okay, so the one thing about a ban list, I would actually be in favor of it if it wasn't for this one glaring fact that I think I've noticed over the past couple sets. What do you actually ban out of some of these decks? Like, we keep seeing some of these
You
decks
don't
getting either
ban
redundant
things.
pieces.
You
Exactly.
limit,
Or
you
like just
restrict,
more-
you
like
only
more
ban
pieces.
broken cards.
But if you
Exactly.
ban Borrow Bats from Thunder Empire, they're just going to play the other ones.
Exactly.
You play one.
Just ban the
They're
flag.
just still be
Okay, listen, you limit and restrict. You
Ban
have to ban
Thunder
Fight.
Empire Fang. Thank you.
Banned Hero World. Turd.
Whoa, shit.
Oh, that's it. I'm out, guys.
What? Hero World isn't even. You know what they did to Hero World? Here, guys, in Japan, we're going to release this awesome new set. 8 months later, you in America will get that set. And it'll be outclassed, outperformed.
Remember when our only problem with that Buddy Fight was called Hero Card Dragon Fight because only Hero World and Dragon World were actually winning?
Sorry, can't hear you over all this justice.
Oh god, okay.
That's right. We had a request to talk about how badly Hero World is getting like just nothing out of the new sets.
Hero World had its time. Let's let it stay in the past. It was a fun 2 months. We're over it. Miracle Impact happened. We're done.
Set that was irrelevant.
Oh my god, that hurts so much.
So, yeah.
It was a fun regional. Let's just let it
The whole
die.
thing is like card. You don't ban every card that you say is it's too broken.
It's
You
the
limit
fact it
and
was
restrict.
Kaiserion. It wasn't Hero World, okay? They just made one card stupidly broken. And that
On the
card even got
topic-
updates and it still can't compete.
On the topic
Good.
of like something like Kaiserion, if you had a ban
Shut
list or
up.
a restricted list at the time, no, you shut the fuck up. I'm trying to.
No,
talk
not
to your
you,
goddamn-
the one who said good.
That was me.
Can't hear you of all this Canadian.
What would happen is when you have a ban list or something, you would hit problem cards that made the decks too fast. Let's say, for example, in Chaos, you'd hit something like Daryl Burke, or you'd hit like or Retarded Gear God. What would happen is you ruin the deck's consistency, but you don't ruin the fact that you can play the card or make the deck still work.
They just need to kind of go to the
keeps
way of instead of a ban list, let's do a restrict list. Let's go, okay,
Well,
instead of
I'm
running 4
trying to
copies of this
say-
card, run 1 copy of it.
ban list, restricted list are the same thing. Well, similar.
Yeah, and when you go like
okay,
Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic list, they all say the same thing. They're called ban list.
okay, but
Yeah, we
here's the
call
thing,
them ban lists
like
in general
Bushiroad
terms.
already has technically for Vanguard a restriction list.
We're
They
talking
don't
about
no
the game
cards
that
flat
doesn't
out banned. Because you can
Game
start
that
with
doesn't
Barclay as your
matter.
starter, not as your starter. You still can have them. So just saying as a restriction list and going, okay, we're gonna just make you can only run 1 of this card. Now, I don't know how much searching there is right now for very specific cards, but I think that would be more balanced in the long run.
Well, with the new bats coming out, there's a searcher for him.
But the
For
thing
him
is, like, if you-
himself, though, and he's an ultimate one, isn't he?
Yeah,
and you
but
have to already overturn to get the great overturn.
no, you don't have to
you're
already
putting-
overturn. Just-
you can just great overturn for what I heard. You can
I
just
thought I
do
read
it.
that
Yeah,
you have
you
to
can just
overturn
break
then great overturn.
No, they're talking about you can do both in one turn or both in one game.
You can, yeah.
There's
Oh,
just-
okay.
So you can do Bats' overturn and then great overturn the next turn. You don't live that. If you can live, you're an incredible player. Or got lucky. Either or.
Or you're just really fucking lucky because, you know, there's no such thing as being a good player right now.
Yeah, it's. Oh, I open up 10 shields. I win.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, basically having a
All
restricted
right,
list.
so to close off this topic, ban list right now, no bueno, not happening. Unless we have like unless we have a list of cards that absolutely need to be banned right now.
Blue Dragon
well,
Field.
let's just
Which
say
I don't-
you limit the
no one even plays.
Dragon Shield. They have their own version again. It
Yeah, I
doesn't
know.
matter. They have a Thunder Empire version.
And 2 greens.
Yeah, that bring it up.
I mean, hey, if that
So what we have 3 Springfest? What's the
Oh,
next
continue.
thing on the agenda? Or is it?
I do not play
Is it
Para.
Driven to
I
Disorder?
play Zendetta.
We have current state of the meta: Driven to Disorder, Springfest, SummerSlam, Sakura Fest.
Driven to Disorder. We haven't
Okay,
even gotten there. Oh my god!
We're still getting spoilers for Driven to Disorder. It's like not out yet.
I think it's done now, isn't it?
Well, then Hero World only got like 5 cards.
Yeah,
6.
they're all getting 5 cards. You can't put every world in a set and expect them to get 20 billion cards.
Hey, look, it's Miracle
wait,
Impact, but it's
wait.
more expensive now.
He's not wrong.
Huh.
Yeah.
Leave Miracle Impact alone, Matt.
I had not. I didn't have fun that format.
Really? Couldn't tell.
Is everyone made me
What
sad?
the fuck is with all these Dragon World cards?
Because it's Dragon World. They get everything. I
Dragon
hope
World
Gao
is-
dies in the next season.
But he did
Are you
die.
saying
He
the
came right back.
new archetype from Magic
No.
World, and this is all they get?
We're getting way off topic.
Do you know the way?
No, we're not. We're on Driven Disorder.
Shut up with that dumb meme. I swear to God.
But it's the disease deck and Ebola's in it, so do you know the way?
Oh God, help me.
Oh God.
Okay,
Yeah,
so going
no.
back to Driven to Disorder, the main thing about Driven to Disorder is
All right.
people are asking how good do you guys think Disease is gonna be? Do you think this is gonna be the next Chaos? Do you think it's gonna just be a deck like Ein that exists, and if you see it, fuck? Like, what do you guys think?
I feel like it'll be extremely strong, but can it last the onslaught of rushing that's going to happen? Even Jack is making a comeback right now. So
Jack
I don't know.
never left. When did Jack leave? I'm so confused.
Well, it hasn't topped in a little while. That's why. It's been Chaos and Thunder
I got
Empire.
cheesed. I'm sorry, man. Like, nothing I can do about that dumb timing procedure.
Yeah. But
Well,
I feel like if it can rush or stall long enough, they'll do fantastic. Because flipping over your opponent's flag, they lose. They can't do anything about that.
Yes, but it is a spell card, and most worlds do have access to a spell null.
Most, and some of them
What?
aren't very good
What?
spell.
Dragon
No.
World and Thunder Empire don't.
Oh, good point.
what worlds
Dragon
have
World,
spell
Thunder
knife?
Empire don't. Chaos doesn't either.
Wait, John, what world has spell nulls?
I know of Hero World, Legend World, and then
Magic
Continental World,
Ancient
Star
World.
Dragon World, Ancient World.
Ancient World.
Star Dragon World has a condition to be met. It just doesn't have a flat out.
No, they have
No,
a spell
they have-
nullifier.
it's-
Just take
it's
a
still
like
All
nullify
the
spell.
dragon arms that are removed from soul, or they have the spell that says when your opponent casts a
Oh,
spell.
yeah, Garble Anchor's a thing.
Oh, Anchor's broke.
It's,
Love that
it's,
card. But they also have Shining Rain, which is a gauge and a life nullify spell.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
That's the new one?
Turn.
Isn't
No,
that the
no.
new one though?
That's the one from the
Oh,
trial.
oh.
Oh
first
yeah, that's
ever
the
trial.
it's on your opponent's turn, so it's not. It's okay. That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Half good.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Still, Ancient
Magic
World doesn't
World-
have one.
So
Magic
someone's saying that
World
Chaos.
has one.
What about Monica?
Demonica.
Was it support, man?
Yeah. I don't have an opinion on the deck until it actually drops. Like I have to actually play against something and test it myself. And I don't think we have all of the reveals for the deck. So, yeah. But it is going to be a main antagonist deck. They've already did some promos with the Magic World user that's going to be using it, Grimoire using it. So it's probably going to be good because as they've done with the rest of the season, they've pushed the main antagonist deck down our throat. So new villain, new deck's going to be good.
Yeah, but the season's
than
coming
it
to an
goes.
end, so how much support really is it going to get going forward? Like, this is technically the Climax booster. They're getting a Chaos Thunder Empire booster, and then what? Like, are they going to keep getting disease support?
Why did it take a whole year, maybe even over
I
a
mean-
year for Magic World to get support?
Maybe in other pocket.
You just throw them extra booster support. and
Because
then you
Magic
slowly,
World couldn't be
Oh,
good.
God, no, that means an alternative booster.
No alternative boosters. Oh, everybody hates us.
That's what I mean. It's going to be sad. Anywho, what's next?
Yeah, alternative boosters, no money.
No money to be made.
Springfest.
Woot woot.
You know
Chicago's
how
got the
you
first
deal
one.
with the meta being very bad?
Well, this is gonna
Yeah,
be
Chicago's the first one. It's going to
this
be
is
nice.
gonna be very interesting Springfest considering team tournaments are happening for the first time.
For Buddy Fight, yeah.
For
But
Buddy
here's the
Fight.
problem, folks. Here's the problem with Springfest in a nutshell. It's shit. It's shit. You win nothing. You get to go nowhere. You win a plaque, a pin, maybe a mat or something like that. Like, it's the least involved Bushiroad tournament to date. Like,
It's like
wait, hold on. Are
bragging,
you
right?
saying that you're not willing to spend $300 in travel fees just to win a pin?
I'd do it.
Is it made of
How many
solid
of
gold and rubies?
Well, like,
I mean,
talk about like
look,
Yu-Gi-Oh's
it's just sad
regionals,
because
they
even their
win a
shop
$1,000
qualifiers-
card.
Oh my god, it's so sickening that they made everything. Here's your
Yeah.
shop qualifier promo, and if you win it, you get to get a stamped version of that promo. The promo only works for so many decks, is only oh so good for this current format, if it is good. It's just ridiculous that they've made Springfest into a joke. It's just like they could have just better off giving us like their version of state championships and just called it a day.
They
Let the
need to
stores
have
run the
more
tournaments.
Yeah,
events.
it's going to be really hard for me to get to go to these tournaments. Like, I know the competitive players, like the Vanguard players of the regionals, regardless, but a lot of the other games are starting to dwindle as far as participation goes. And I don't know how shop qualifiers are going to go now that there's like no real prize, because it seems like only the Vanguard players care about the like bragging rights for winning those tournaments. Like their numbers are like huge for a lot of like events and stuff, but I don't know how it's going to get like people going for a Buddy Fight shop qualifiers, because you're not really. So I guess if you really love the game, you go like hot stamp of a useless card.
What the game
Or me
desperately needs is a bigger organization than our local stores to create some sort of competitive circuit to help get a lot of these shops, maybe even some of them that are less invested in Buddy Fight than like Card Academy or Justin Store or whoever, to just create that that environment that the competitive players want to go for and want to compete with. Unfortunately, we're dealing with a company that is still holding on to its parent company. You know, this is what happens with Asian companies, specifically Japan, is you got your parent, you got your child, and Bushiroad America is really only in charge of the tournament scenes. Everything else is handled by Singaporeans, but they still have to go obeyed by the parent company's law of, we don't want this to be like a super competitive game. We don't want people to be playing for like cash prizes and stuff like that. So we're not actually going to do official things like that. We want to keep this free to play and all this. We're not even going to like pay for people to fly to these tournaments that we're giving them the chance to show for, like with Continentals a couple years back. I remember watching people who got second and third and got the right to go to Continentals when we still had those, but they couldn't go because they couldn't afford the flight. And you look at something like Magic, who understood in their early days that the best way to make this game grow and to increase its popularity was to build a competitive scene. Americans are freaking competitive. We thrive on competition.
Not Canada.
But we're working with a game and a company that just doesn't want that to happen, because they're under the delusion that, if you're trying to play competitive, then you can't play for fun. And that's what we need for Buddy Fight. We need a secondary company like an ARG. Because say what you want about ARG, love it, hate it, whatever. The fact that they took Vanguard and they added it to their roster of, okay, we already do Magic, we do Yu-Gi-Oh, and Vanguard is it has enough of a following that we can do competitive Vanguard events. I don't really play a huge amount of competitive Vanguard. It was one of those things I did for fun, especially when they were doing team links. But the fact that my local store could get Vanguard ARG tournaments got me to play a lot more, got me to get into a competitive mindset, because I could go, okay, I can still enter, I can pay, and if I put enough practice, I have a chance to go win, maybe some cash prize, maybe some store cred, whatever. But no, Buddy Fight's just not going to get that. Stupid name.
The name at this point.
I mean, you can't really say that because we are doing that with Sakura Fest and SummerSlam, and then like all of the other events that we're like promoting ourselves. Because ARG is basically a store that setting their own competitive tournaments for all of these popular games. But the thing about ARG is that they only do popular games.
Right, they only do popular games, but they also have the ability to do those games because they have the recognition. When Dragon Ball Z was brought back by Panini, we actually did fire ARG Dragon Ball Z tournaments because they're a well-known brand. It's all about their brand. It's fantastic. It is. I love the fact that Card Academy is doing Sakura Fest and that you guys are doing something at the East Coast. I think that stuff is amazing, but it's not going to be. But it's not something that we can just get out to other stores. Card Academy can't contact other stores and be like, "Hey, we'll give you supplies and stuff so that you guys can host a Sakura Fest for Bushiroad Games or Buddy Fight," because they just don't have that purchasing power. Justin, do you have that kind of purchasing power?
What,
no, we just don't have the capital. Yeah, like an Adrian. Can you actually just go to a local contact? Yeah.
I have the money first. I don't have the time power.
Yeah, that's
it. It's like I proved it time and time again. Like whenever I post in the group looking for help for like the tag team tournament or SummerSlam, nobody offers the help. Nobody offers to judge. And then the people that offer to judge are the same like really bad judges that judged at like regionals and stuff that we complain about in the group. So it's like,
why are you making fun? Oh, it's fine job.
Nobody's trying to help.
We just don't have the capital.
So it's like nobody's.
You tell me I'm a bad judge, Justin?
Yeah. What, you? Oh, yeah. You're like a B.
I'm like a B?
You're not that bad, Matt.
I think we had fun at
You're not a microton, Matt.
That's a bad thing.
What?
Oh god.
What?
Oh shit.
Team?
Is that a bad thing?
What? That you're not a Charmac?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. That's not. Is that an insult? Like, what was that supposed to be meant by? I'm confizzled.
Confizzled.
Fizzle. All right, moving along. No, I'm just trying to close out all of the events. We got SummerSlam coming up. I talked to Dirk, who is the owner of Groove in Chicago, and we're gonna be looking to doing he's the owner of Groove in Chicago, and we're going to be doing SummerSlam in Chicago this year, and he wants to do the weekend before Texas Regionals. So
June, right?
That is ideal target, and I will be posting more about that. And go ahead.
Yep. Yeah, so I do have confirmation that Sakura Fest is happening, so that's going to be a thing, but they're still hammering out their dates. I actually know their TOs personally, and so you can expect that to show up, around an empty period where there's not going to be like a regional that yet you have to travel to. There should be enough space between those. They're just waiting on finalizing dates.
Mm-hmm.
But it is coming. That's exciting.
Well, that's good. I mean, it proved that Card Academy had a good time doing it the first time around. So at least they feel that their events were worth doing again. So,
yeah, they'll probably do Dragonborn instead of Luck and Logic, though.
Yes. So
what's Luck and Logic?
A box filler.
Oh shit! Too soon, bro.
Oh shit!
No, buddy of mine's. One of my very good friends is going to Worlds this Thursday for Luck and Logic. Hope he does well.
Yeah.
So no, I do acknowledge that game.
I mean, it's still played. It's just not a thing in the United States.
Yeah.
So
we focus more on Buddy Fight and Vanguard.
I mean, Wise is there. Yeah. It's just
if you're watching this, Yeah, I was gonna say if anybody's watching right now, we're gonna be. Well, I'm looking to do bouts for SummerSlam and the tag team tournaments this year. So yes, it will be a belt that you get to keep, but I have not been able to find a cheap belt yet. Like so far, everything has been in like the range of like $150 to like $200, which is like impossible to swing for like a prize just for first place. But the prizes for SummerSlam, Sakura Fest, and what is it called? The tag team tournament at the end of the year are going to be huge. It's going to be huge, bigly huge. So please try to make it out playing. If you need a place to stay, let me know. Like just like I said for like All Stars tag, but a lot of people didn't do. Like if you let me know in advance, I can book hotels or rooms. It's like I think 2 people took me up on the offer, and we had like Bill A from New York stay with us, and Josh. So we always have a lot of space, and there's always a ton of us. We literally play card games like between Buddy Fight and Vanguard, or for some of us Dragon Ball Super, the entire weekend that we're in town for these events, and then like other board games and go out and chill. So if you're going to be there, Shore and Cash, just let me know. Hit me up on Facebook and take a note of it. Zach told me to write stuff down. So in 2018, I'm writing everything down. So I'll still lose the papers later.
Hey, there's a magical feeling to putting pen to paper. Let me tell you that. Actually, all right. So hey, John, why don't we go ahead and take this point to plug some of the giveaways that we're going to be doing? Except that we just lost John. We're still alive, right?
Oh, all
I
right.
think he's going to go find.
I think
He's back. He's back.
Okay, John, you still here?
I'm waiting for the agenda to load up. I can't see it.
Well,
Can't see it. I meant to put it in the.
We got SummerSlam, Soccer Fest, the competitive scene. As Bushy spoiled us in the past. Spring Fest. That's we're coming to the end of.
Oh yeah.
John, you here?
Yeah, I got.
Okay.
So dropped me. I apologize.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, Justin, before we go ahead and move to the next topic, we have John go ahead and plug some of the giveaways that will be given away towards the end.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do 3 giveaways.
Yep. And you have to be here at the end of the stream in order to win these.
Well, they're going to do it a few things because you're going to like this video, and then I posted in the group a photo of Schwarz, Satsuki, and the Death Star. Go on there, like that post, and comment, I want to win. And then what you can win is there are, for those Hero World players, there's
I'm a Hero World player.
4 foil, I've seen through your moves. 1 triple R Sasuke, and then apparently this guy's worth something for some reason, but we're gonna give away Barblat's secret pack.
Oh, I want that.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
No,
With the cool backing. So.
I want it for my next Barblat's pack.
Actually,
No. So go ahead and comment on that and say I want to win. Like this video and like that post, and we will give away all 3 of those. Sound good? Everyone? Am I disconnected?
No, that was
People are not saying anything.
No.
I'm scared.
Well, everyone's busy running off into like the post.
That's true. That's true. All right. Where are we at in topic-wise, folks?
I think we're coming to the end.
The end.
Yeah,
I don't have the itinerary anymore because I got.
Well, you look in the Google Hangout chat and it's all there.
There we go. Not for me for some reason. All the fun stuff that used to be there is gone.
All right, I'll just.
It's okay. No, I found it now. So yeah, the competitive scene, and we kind of talked about that. No.
We kind of did because
we touched on it. I was going to explain the competitive scene. In the past, like Buddy Fight has been one of the only games where everything has, like every world has had a competitive deck. And in the last few years, that has not been so. It's like, I don't know if a lot of people realize, but our game is leaning more towards Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's like they have metas where there's only like 3 to 4 competitive decks. At worst case scenarios, it's like 1 to 2. And I was just going to say, like, that's why it's putting such a damper on people's spirits, because it's like you guys are so invested into your stuff and you want to play certain decks or you want to play certain worlds. And like Bushi kind of like messed up because they like gave us everything and then they take it away. And then they like shoved Chaos into your face and Thunder Emperor things. And I know a lot of people don't want to play all of it, or you can't play it because it's so expensive. So it just puts you like in a bad zone. But I will say, I can't promise you it will get better, but Bushi has taken steps to try to correct this. If you don't know, they actually made a Facebook survey, and it's another survey somewhere else, asking people what they thought about the game, what things they like, what characters they like, what decks they like, and all that sorts of things. So Bushiroad is listening to us. If you have any problems, you might want to try emailing them, because they do take thoughts and opinions into consideration when they do things. They might not act upon everything that we do, but
do you know what
they're
Bushiroad
at least trying. And you just have to understand.
Bushiroad reminds me of the tree ants from Lord of the Rings 2. It takes them a long time to like figure out one thing, and they're all like in a little discussion, and like they come to the obvious conclusion of certain stuff. Like it's like, I guess players want a competitive scene. Like it's kind of like that. They are a great company for making it feel like you're included and that you get to play and that you're wanted. But at the same time, they're just like afraid to pull that trigger. I think they're really scared to really make it their company a little bit more. Like honestly, if I were them, I would have invested in doing like state tournaments or regional tournaments that are not as big as what they've been doing. Just really trying to focus on shops hosting these events like they used to do for Team League a long time ago. And I'm not talking about the current stuff that they've done where you win buys. I'm legitimately talking about like where you would go, hey, I won this tournament, I got my invite to a regional, and not only that, but I also won because they used to do it, the plaques, the piece of papers. Like I think they stopped doing that for whatever reason last year halfway through, and then there seemed like when you win an event this time around, all you're winning is a voucher to win a promo card. So like if they were to say at least I'm the shop winner, it'd be something a little bit more, but I don't know why they're not doing simple things like that. It would just make it a lot worth, because imagine Justin Gee having his wall of trophies, and you got these things. Hey, I won my shop qualifier. Hey, I won my shop qualifier. Like you can't even do that right now.
John, they gave you a certificate last year. Remember?
They gave me 1 for 1, and then the second half they didn't give me anything.
Oh, not for the last.
I didn't get anything the last time around.
Yeah, there was none because I won.
They gave the springish ones.
The other
right, because I remember not having one for Indy.
Yeah. It was really weird how they did.
I usually don't post it because I don't like to brag, but I post some of the stuff to try to promote the game. Like a lot of the stuff that I post in the groups is just to try to get people talking and like trying to start up their own stuff. That's why I don't care if people use my ideas or like expound upon them or give me their ideas for me to use for other events and stuff. Like I want everybody to just like play the game and have fun or whatever, or enjoy life, like, or chill out with all the negativity. But it's like they didn't use the certificate. But I mean, I like the certificates because then it gives like I'm starting to build a wall of them with like all of the players winning different events that they went here or they went at like other stores, and I put all of them on a plaque and just put them up on the wall. And we keep having New Yorkers and Virginia players come and steal our shop championships. So we're putting a stop to that this come around. These guys are gonna be ready. You hear me, Matt?
But who cares if they win? They have no way to prove that they won. There's other than a voucher. So
I couldn't play. Remember that.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
But yeah. Oh yeah, you couldn't come. I don't think But yeah, Henry got it. Henry got it a few times.
For
But
what?
that does anybody else have any?
What was that, Justin? You kind of roboted
Yeah,
at
it
the end
broke
there.
up at the end there. He's
One more
still
time.
breaking up. Big Finish.
Okay, since Justin's apparently turned into a robot.
Okay.
Wait, okay, what? What did you? We couldn't hear a word you said. Oh God,
There we go again.
Justin. I guess any open topics? Maybe that's what he was trying to say. Oh God. Any open anything from the people in the YouTube chat want to ask any questions before we end this stream?
Well, if we're going to leave it up to the chat, it'll take them a couple minutes. Like, I've been watching it, but, you know, it's kind of just a couple of the echoes of what we're saying. Like, you know, Zodiac actually takes out Thor and laughs. New York scene feels limited right now because it's just Chaos and Thunder Emperor fans. It's this weird paradigm dynamic that I think Bushiroad makes with their clan systems. It's fantastic for people like me because we love getting invested into like a world or a theme, and we love literally carrying that as our flag. Like, I don't play Vanguard, I play Angel Feathers. If we're playing White Schwartz, then I'm not playing White Schwartz, I'm playing with Modica. If we're playing with Buddy Fight, then I play with Hero World. You kind of get what I mean? But when you create that dynamic between the people who like me get competitive, and we get competitive with the things that we love, but you create an environment that says, hey, if you want to be competitive and you want to win, you have to play these specific things. It really depends on what that tipping point is for you. If it's something like, oh, you know, Chaos is appealing enough that, you know, you can have fun playing with it, but you also want to be competitive. Or if you're the kind of person who, you know, goes, okay, I love Hero World, but I have to admit that it's not very good right now, but I still want to be competitive. I'll go ahead and shelve Hero World for a while and play Chaos. You know, for some people, it just doesn't work that way. For a lot of people, it does.
Yeah.
There is one good thing about this, though. Before we started getting into the tomfoolery that was Chaos and Thunder Empire and Chaos and the huge amount of power creep, I thought they were doing some really, really cool things with a lot of new decks and archetypes and stuff. Like we can say that Black Dragons didn't need some of this support. I thought it was really cool that they were starting to build like a set archetype for Black Dragons and giving them one of those really hard identities. Or, you know, we're looking at, I had another. You know, or, you know, Legend World just had their all-item deck come out. You know, they're coming out with a lot of cool experimental stuff that in any other year it would be just fine. It's just all overshadowed right now by the elephant in the room.
I liked the fact that they went that route, like, but it doesn't seem everything was super, like, it feels like they threw a lot of these sets together rather than developing them, like, because I feel like and again, unless you're some of the big decks, Chaos, Thunder Empire, a lot of these things were given so support, you know, that really honestly could compete, but not really in the long run. Like, they're relying on older support, you know, and where all these new cards are being made, and they're just good in their own. They're just great. Like, they're like, oh, here we go. Like, this card's really good. This card's really good. This card's really good. Again, when so many of the older decks or when newer things that maybe weren't so great, like Danger World, like they had the Dual Golem, which were great, but they're kind of like a one-trick pony. Like, they're either relying on some other support or they're just not going to top. And it's really funny because they do top a lot in Japan, but here in America, we just don't see it.
As bad as it is that stuff like Magic World happened, where they didn't get their 5 World Build Masters and a bunch of stuff like that, we did see some Worlds and decks that really need to get loved. Like Oni Assassin, I think really did need to happen. It made this really cool kind of Stali control deck that Catan World didn't have it in this meta. It gives updated support to the Blade Beast and the other things that contaminated water got support. And what kind of happened was I thought we were going to go through what we did last year, where we're going to take a pull back from some of the other sets. We're going to start focusing on like Legend World. Legend World hasn't gotten support forever, so let's go ahead and boom, 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 and then we'll take a break from Legend World. We can focus on like Katana World and maybe one other world. Just it didn't quite work out that way, but it looked like it worked. Like I said, I thought the first half of this last year was actually pretty decent. Anyone else got anything?
No.
Cameron's got a buzzer.
Boom, boom, boom. I think that's it. Did we even lose Justin?
Yeah, we kind of lost Justin part way. So as far as I
He
can
just
tell,
messaged us saying if we're still on.
we're still. Yeah, we are still
Well, I
on.
guess that's the point where we can come to an end.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start wrapping this up.
Yeah. I don't think any of us can actually end the stream. Oh, there he is. Yeah, he's back.
Okay.
There we go.
Chibi Panda
I think that's
Chaos version is a perfect example of a great art wasted on a mat card.
That's
So say
okay.
it in the chat.
We're okay with Chaos getting bad cards. They don't need anything else, please. But hey, I love going up against that matchup. It pushes me to my absolute mental limit sometimes, trying to figure out how to beat it. With no struggle, there's no progress.
All right, stop it.